What's up, guys? This is Tim Trevathan with Tim Trevathan Homes here, and yet again another episode of What Locals Think About Their City. And of course, we're here in Metro Atlanta, and I'm here with Mark and Katina, and we're going to be talking about Suwanee, Georgia, specifically. And there's a lot to unpack with the city, and I couldn't have asked for a better couple to do it. Mark and Katina, how are you guys?
Doing pretty good.
Pretty
man.
good.
Thanks for interviewing us.
I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me. And it's been already, how many years since you guys moved here?
5.
Man, time has flown, hasn't it?
It has. A lot has gone on, and this city's been awesome for our kids.
That's awesome. I'm happy to hear it. So when you guys were first looking, there are so many cities you were kind of, considering. Why Suwanee?
I did a deep dive. I was looking around. Suwanee has some of the best schools in the state, a lot of green spaces, just a really great social life. We even like the town center. They're always doing things. They very community oriented. So that was very important.
How about you?
I was just following her lead for the most part, but the biggest drive for us coming here were the schools.
Schools.
Yeah. Our son was getting ready to go to high school, and we wanted him to go to a good school.
Great. And which school have they been in here in the last?
So they did North Gwinnett Middle School and high school. And what we liked about the high school is our kids have varying interests. So at the time, one was into animation, who still is. Another one was into culinary arts, and the other one was into teaching. And so we needed a school that had AP classes and just diverse programs that could accommodate all of the kids. And so North Gwinnett High School was that school. Now their interests have changed since then. The one that was into culinary arts is now into traditional arts and illustration. And the one that wanted to be a teacher is now more into business administration. But even as their interests changed, the high school still had everything that they needed. So it still worked out.
That's great. Yeah, North Gwinnett High School. So I remember just 2 years ago, I was helping a client actually move to the West Coast, which oftentimes is the opposite. But their house sold within days. Even they had a lot of work that needed to be done. Because it was a North Gwinnett school district, that's why everybody was wanting to move and move into that home in that neighborhood. So what about as far as, I see the picture here. Tell me a little bit about this picture. What's going on?
Okay, so this is a wonderful piece of art from my father, my late father, was a photographer. I'm originally French Canadian. I'm from Montreal. And so this was a picture of a group of statues, and this is before Photoshop. This is from the 1990s. So
Very nice.
My dad actually airbrushed all of the other statues out of the picture and put Montreal up there, and it actually was featured in a few expos down there in the 1990s. But it's one of my favorite pieces, and of course it reminds me of back home, so I love it.
That is awesome, amazing. Speaking of back home, Montreal, I know there's a big difference between there and Georgia. Just taking a little bit of a step back, Metro Atlanta itself compared to Montreal, can you share some of those differences and similarities?
Oh man, so there's a lot. So I'll be honest, I miss back home a lot. So part of the difference is, besides the culture, it's French Canadian, and then you come to an American culture. I feel like in Canada, again, there's excellent schools. It's affordable. It's a very multicultural environment. So is Atlanta, but I think Montreal has more of a multicultural environment. But yeah, so they're just two different flavors, I guess. Here there's a different nightlife, there's different social life. One thing that keeps us here, though, is that, which is why I'm not going back home, is that Atlanta has a very strong literary art scene. And I'm a writer and a translator, and so and it has a very strong tech scene too. And my husband is in information technology. He's a web developer. So Atlanta has the best of both worlds, where we can both thrive. And that's something that I cannot get back home. So when it comes to, there's a lot of best-selling authors that are here. There's a lot of publishing opportunities here. There's the movie industry that's established here. It just has the best of both worlds for us. So that's why it's a great place for us to put down our roots.
Yeah, and recently we've got into the game of real estate investment. So
Yeah,
there's a
nice.
ton of opportunities here as well.
That's right. A landlord-friendly state.
Right,
Yes.
yes.
Yes. Well, I'm glad you mentioned those jobs in particular because, there's a lot of, opportunity for jobs here. A lot of people think oftentimes it's just healthcare or IT, supply chain logistics, but there's so much more than that if you dive deeper. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
You were with Auto Trader, was it, at one
Yes,
point? You
yeah.
still with them?
No, I currently am a software engineer for the Home Depot.
Nice.
Yeah.
Can you share about Home Depot, the company, and why is it so reputable here?
There are a lot of Home Depot buildings here, but I can speak more about the corporation instead of the actual store that everyone goes to.
Right.
The company takes care of their employees. They really do care about the mental health, the compensation, just having a work environment where you feel heard.
Right.
Where you feel like you know what's going on, what you're doing is important. We have kind of like a top, I don't know if it's a bottom up perspective on how to service the. So normally executives are on the top, but in this one it's flipped, and the executives are on the bottom, and our most important customer is the store associate that everyone else interacts with. So we're always doing everything we can to support them.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
And
since I've been working there, it's been a wonderful job, and they always try to give us an opportunity to better ourselves, continuing education, and I just always feel like I have a good balance between work and life.
that is great. And that's important, especially here. And Suwanee is very family oriented, you would say, right?
Oh
Yeah.
definitely.
What about for, there's plenty of singles, young professionals coming here. Would Suwanee be a spot that they should consider? And if so, why?
Absolutely.
Why would they want to come here?
All right, so Suwanee is so wonderful to me, and my kids know. I'm like, if there's only one thing that I would say Suwanee is missing, and this is specific to me, is that I would like for more people to speak French because I'm French Canadian. That is the only thing, right? Because no place is perfect. So 99% of the way, and then that 1% is if they spoke French. But it's a great place to raise families because of the schools. There's a lot of businesses out here that support anything that kids want to do, from the arts to sports to, we have friends that are deep into soccer, there's softball, there's baseball, so there's a lot of sports here. Like I mentioned, the green spaces, just getting out after a long day of work and being able to go on the trails. There's the Suwanee Green Trail, Greenway, there it is. Just going out there, and I've told Mark, I feel like the wealthiest person on earth because we picked a house that was close to the trails, and so we get to step out there. I feel like I'm walking along my estate, and we're out there. We'll see bunnies, we'll see deer, we'll see a lot of nature. It's beautiful. Yeah. It's a beautiful thing, and it's accessible. Right? So in some cities, there are green spaces, but it's a trek just to get there. You literally have to drive sometimes just to get there. Besides that, like I said, the town center does a lot for the community. So they have movie in the park. They have food truck Fridays. There's a farmer's market. Glow in the Park, Suwanee. So they're always setting the stage for people to interact and connect and have fun.
They have a performing arts center. I'm not sure where it is, but they always have shows from those kids that are at the center. So when you go to town center and there's the auditorium or the stage, they have a stage there, and you always get to see them perform, and it just, everyone is supportive, and it's
awesome.
It's just fun. But back to the Greenway, every time that we take a walk on the Greenway, it never fails that we're always like, we are so blessed, so fortunate to be able to just have this Greenway.
Right.
And there are regulars out there, so even if you don't know their names, we're constantly saluting.
That's true.
It is awesome. And it spans several miles, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like I'm not sure, so don't quote me, but it does cross like a good portion of Suwanee, the southern part of Suwanee, and then there's like other parks that kind of have a lot of trails and greenways too.
So a lot of community events, great neighborhoods, great walking trails. How about for somebody that's considering moving to Atlanta, and they're looking around the suburbs here in the Northeast metro area, and they're from out of state, what other things could you say that really stand out for Suwanee specifically versus other neighboring cities? Although we know a lot of cities here in Gwinnett are awesome, but anything else that you could say in addition to what you shared or want to emphasize?
Because we used to live on the south side and now we're here, I find that Suwanee has a very diverse community. And I appreciate that, it is, you get to interact with way more cultures here. So that's something that I think is important. And I see it more in Suwanee than other cities. So that's a plus. What would you say, Mark?
There's a ton of restaurants, a ton of places to eat and hang out. And we're very close to the Mall of Georgia, which just continues to expand. So there's a ton of things to do, a ton of things to eat.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it takes a while to make the rounds. And again, because of the diversity, like there's a phenomenal Mediterranean restaurant that's down the street. There's a phenomenal ramen spot that is unbeatable. I don't know, have you say it's Umedo?
What, do you know the name of that restaurant?
It's either Umedo or Umaido.
Yeah. I've been there. Great place. Yes.
Unbeatable. And it's like right
Take
there.
Notes.
It's right there. So there's a lot of restaurants here that we've gone elsewhere, like other cities, or even in Atlanta, like some of these like reputable places, they don't beat them, man. I feel like the top chefs are here in Suwanee. They really go out of their way to give you the best.
Yeah. What I do really like about the town center is that there are restaurants at the town center. So you have the open field, you have the stage that's there. The city itself is always doing things in that space, but you always see families and friends just hanging around, playing soccer, throwing the football. And then you have the restaurants that are right there, so we go to Tequila Mama.
That's another one. That's our spot.
Hands down, that's one of our favorite places to go. We're just out there, just eating and just enjoying the scenery, enjoying all the livelihood. That's out
Best
there.
margaritas. They don't skimp. They don't skimp on the tequila there. Best nachos. They got bang for your buck. They're called Cadillac nachos. You get a big old thing like this. You can share with friends.
So I don't know if you are probably going to cut this out, but I have been a longtime Taco Bell fan.
Okay.
I used to work there when I was younger.
Nice.
And at some point, I always have a hankering for some Taco Bell. But since we've been going to Tequila Mama and we get their nachos, their Cadillac nachos, after a while, I went back and had one, and I was like, "This is not Tequila Mama. This is the day that I no longer like this place."
I like how they coined the term Cadillacs. They got that luxurious feel.
It comes with everything. It literally does. So
it's amazing.
A lot of people in Suwanee, I don't care if you just meet somebody, if you tell them Tequila Mama, they've been there. It draws everybody. So, but yeah, so the food scene is amazing. The social scene is amazing.
Is it Gary Perkle Park?
There's a bunch of parks.
George Pierce Park nearby,
Pierce,
right across from Suwanee Town Center. Not far from the interstate, and then you got the big K-Town over across the bridge there, Koreatown.
So that the Greenway from here we can walk all the way to there to George Pierce. So that's another thing. And for the kids, when we first started letting them like go out on their own, they were able to take the Greenway to the town center. They were able to take it to the park, so they never have to be on the main road. So they had safe access to all of these amenities or these things. So our one rule was go as a group, don't go by yourself. But as they were learning to, or they were appreciating greater independence that we were allowing them to have, for me, it was just peace of mind that they are not traveling on the main road. They have these kind of little trails that take them there.
Man, that's fantastic.
And not sure if it's a popular venue or not, but we also enjoyed the public library. It's a great place, and
right across the street from Suwanee Town Center. Right?
Yep.
And the kids can get there on their own
safely.
And
I mean, you guys live right in the heart of Suwanee, right?
We do.
Right behind Suwanee Town Center, and great spot for anybody, young professionals, families, and like they said, like almost like spoiled to be in this location. And walking distance is so much.
Close to 85. That was another thing, because he's at Home Depot. before the pandemic, HQ was is it Marietta?
Marietta.
So it was important for us to have a location that was close enough to 85, but not like right next to 85.
Right.
So we have close enough access there. And since the pandemic, no one really goes into HQ anymore. But around Suwanee, there's co-working spaces and all these spaces that you can still work. And I'm an introvert, but he is not. So
Really?
he is not. I can stay home. I'm wonderful. Home is kryptonite. He's just gonna lose energy, lose interest. He has to be around people, and so so he goes to a co-working space instead of working from home. So
It's a nice 15-minute drive, and I've got plenty of people to work with.
Man, you guys get me excited about Suwanee. I guess I gotta move here pretty soon. I'm in a neighboring city, which I like too. But Gwinnett County is great. Any closing remarks, especially those that are on the fence about wanting to move to Atlanta? What would get them off the fence?
I don't know. For me personally, I just feel fortunate to be here. There's lots of cities. This area has a really great mix, a great balance of safety. I have. Sometimes the kids will leave the door unlocked. It just absent-minded, but I mean, it's been unlocked all night, and I haven't been totally. I've been totally fine.
Yeah, feel safe and secure.
Yeah,
that's great. That's great.
yeah. So it is. It's not just a feeling. So that was part of my deep dive when I was looking for cities. I was looking at the crime rates and all of those. And again, Suwanee wins. Suwanee wins that department. Yeah. So it is a very safe city. It is a beautiful city. It is an active city. So for someone it depends also what state they're coming from. I feel like anybody from California here will find that they get bang for their buck with the home. And then maybe anywhere else it might, break even. But you just can't beat the life and the safety and all the access and the families that are here.
And they are building. They are adding more buildings. There's some apartments that are being put up, some more parks. So the real estate value is just going up.
Right.
It is going up a lot. So even here, our home is appreciated
tremendously.
Yeah, in the past 5 years. And like Mark said, so they're putting up apartments, they're putting up all these different types of housing, so you don't have to go all in on a house, right? So they do have like apartments and condos, townhomes, and they're diversifying the types of homes that are here. So,
man, I think we hit on everything. What a great recap of Suwanee. So, I mean, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Catch my other videos about the hyper real estate market here, the local real estate market. And guys, I got a lot of videos, so you want to make sure and you go through all of them. And if you are looking to move here, feel free to give me a call, text, email, however you want to get a hold of me. Would love to hear from you. See you guys on the next video. Bye. Bye.